Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the George Romm Little Theater. Tonight is Tuesday, March 21st. It is 6:45, and we are here tonight to discuss the superintendent's contract. This is a subcommittee meeting, and Superintendent Michael Thomas is with us tonight, and I will give the floor to you.
Thank you. So obviously, the subcommittee is superintendent contract, even though we'll be discussing, obviously, my evaluation. This is the mid-cycle review that's always done in March. To update you on where we are with my goals. So, I'll go through and then obviously answer any questions that you might have. So evaluating the superintendent. So obviously it's progress towards the achievement of goals. So it's a student learning goal, a professional practice goal, and then 2 to 4 district improvement goals. Performance on each of the standards in DESE's superintendent and district administrative rubric. So obviously you have to do this every year. Under DESE regulations, the superintendent has to be evaluated every year, and it's also in my contract because it does have to follow DESE regulations, and it's also tied to my certification. So, and there's the process, and we're at the mid-cycle review, and then obviously the end of the cycle will be towards May, the end of May, and that's when I start to upload all the evidence under each goal. So you obviously, for you to review and then to conduct the evaluation, which is usually done between Memorial Day and the end of the school year, the end of June. This is the rubric that's on, that tells you the standards 1 through 4. You'll have this when you start to do the evaluation in your packet. So Karen Spalding, Dr. Spalding will be working directly with you to help you, assist you in any way you need with the evaluation. And I know there was some talk of maybe using a different platform, doing it a different way, and I'll leave that obviously up to the committee to how you want to review the materials have to stay the same because that's how the Department of Ed lays them out. But what you use for a platform and the evidence and all that kind of those things I obviously will leave to you. So student learning goal this year is to increase student performance in math and ELA through the implementation of high-quality instructional materials and MTSS, which is the systems of student support, multi-tiered system of student support with a focus on equity and access. So action steps so far, which you've heard presentations about, is our new first year of our new Wonders ELA curriculum. This is the implementation, and looking at that, we just started full implementation just about 2 weeks ago. Teachers have been doing the training. The rollout of the ELA curriculum has been a lot better because we kind of worked with teachers to implement, and also we didn't pull out the old curriculum. We kind of transitioned it starting in September, so it's worked well. This is our second year of illustrative math. So again, these are about reviewing the instructional routines and scaffolding. That last year rollout was an issue and not done well. And this year it's been better because the teachers had some time to work with it, but it was very frustrating last year for teachers, the way the math was rolled out. So I'm pleased with ELA, and I'm pleased that this year being the second year of the math curriculum that it's going better than it did the first year. So, because as you know, an elementary teacher that teaches all subjects, very difficult for them to implement new curriculum when you're doing a new math curriculum last year and a new ELA curriculum this year. So you have to make sure it's done very well to help them and lessen the burden. Middle school, we have Study Sync. That's for ELA. Math is Carnegie Learning. That's year 4. High school, the high school has a task force that we put together that is now going to adopt a new ELA curriculum. It's been clear that we really don't have one. And this has always been an issue at the secondary level, high school, 9 to 12, and not just in Brockton. This is statewide. So when you go on to the DESE website, they use a curate process through Ed Reports, and you cannot find a recommended curriculum from the state to use for ELA in 9 to 12. So they're vetting a couple now, and we'll see if they recommend any, but it's very difficult when you get to 9 to 12 because there's not a lot out there that is standard curriculum. However, it's important to note when you talk about adopting a new ELA curriculum at the high school, this is not just high school, it's 9 to 12, which is high school, but it's not just Brockton High. Its task force involves Promise School, Champion, Edison Academy, and the Huntington, because they all have to have the standard-based curriculum. It's not just Brockton High School. You'll look at 9 to 12 ELA, and then this would be a little bit different for, 9 to 10, 9 and 10th grade, and then 11th and 12th will be a little bit different, where you see a lot more elective classes taken in ELA. Math, Carnegie is in his 4th year, being rolled out, and then for our English language learners, we're in year 1 of launch, K to 5. We have our ESL support K to 12 and development, and that's through scaffolding, look-fors, and the curriculum adoption. So Kelly and her team and the bilingual department are, really doing a great job with the programs that we've put in for bilingual education. And then students with disabilities, we continue to do program reviews, make sure they have access to the regular ed curriculum as much as possible, and that's all about access and equity. And enhanced core reading instruction is now being focused on with our students with disabilities. But I've been doing some walkthroughs, and you can see in some of our sub-separate classrooms, the curriculum being used in the regular ed classrooms is being used in the special education classrooms, which was not always the case. This is more from the student learning goal. This is, again, action steps, our district-wide participation in the multi-tiered systems of support through SEL, DESE Academy. We're always in meetings with DESE and them providing us with a lot of resources. There's a grant for pilot screening tier 1, evidence-based interventions that we are looking at. There's a task force that's formed to identify tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 programs and materials to help with students, identify and pilot SEL, and do screenings across the district. And again, as you can see, I don't want to keep reading every one of them, but this is what we're looking into, and these are the action steps we're taking. Comprehensive review of the BPS district curriculum with a combination plan to align with the MTSS model. So we're looking at an SEL curriculum right now, district-wide, that would be age-appropriate through the grades. And then the restorative justice partnership with Suffolk University, all the administrators in the district, the entire leadership team, including all principals, all assistants, and including all the executive team members, will be done with the restorative justice training by this June. So every administrator will be trained in restorative justice, and then we'll roll that out to the district starting next week with next year with trainings with teachers. My professional practice goal is further develop my leadership skills in strategic planning and plan implementation through participation in the Urban Superintendent Network and networks, because there's a few. Our DESE partnership and other professional opportunities that we take advantage of. I have bi-weekly meetings with Brockton and the DESE team. Sometimes it's more than that because I do the walkthroughs with DESE. So the bi-weekly meetings are set, and that's just to get caught up on what's going on throughout the district. And then I also do several walkthroughs with them. I attend monthly Urban Superintendent Network meetings, which is once a month in Marlborough. I attend the MASS and MASC conference with some of you. I attend the Mass Associated School Superintendents Summer Institute. That's on the Cape. I commute back and forth. I never stay, just to add that. TNTP is a company the state contracts with to basically roll out a lot of learning academies. So we spend a lot of time with them on things to do with instruction, scaffolding, and also some social emotional things. District trainings that are done constantly. My cabinet is very great on updating me and making sure I'm trained in all the things that they're training others in, so, which is very important. And also, I attend the Inspire 100 meetings, which Dr. Cobbs was a member of, Dr. Moran. This is Inspire 100 is 100 superintendents by the year 27, is it 2027? This is a DESE goal to have 100 superintendents of color by the year 2027. So Dr. Cobbs, Dr. Moran were first. I think you were the first two to go through that. This year is Renee and Sean Precious. So, and I attend those meetings with them. They have to do projects every year. So this is a grant that we get through DESE, and every year we make sure we take advantage of it. So next year we'll have 2 more. So it's actually a really good program that the state started. District Goal 1, culture and context. Every Brockton Public School will provide culturally responsive, inclusive, and rigorous high-quality learning experience using high-quality instructional materials. And again, this is the things that we've been working on. You have continued to explore and evaluate our equity, diversity, inclusion efforts with our Office of Equity, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. We have the creation, which you helped us and vote through, was the creation of Honors Academy, where there used to be about 200 and change students in high-level classes in middle school, TAG we used to call it. Now there's 1,000 students in the Honors Academy in every middle school. The creation of a new launch program, and that's something that we've talked about a lot, and actually Mr. Rodriguez talked about a lot, is making sure students are not spending too much time in bilingual classes and moving them into the mainstream. And so they have access to, the regular curriculum. They have access to higher level classes. And when they're moving on to high school, they're in AP honors classes. So the launch program starting in elementary, we visited a lot of those classrooms, and, I have to say that the bilingual department and the teachers teaching in the launch program have been very effective. And Dr. Sean Boone with his expansion of early college and career tech end enrollment. So we're still working on making sure that we connect with all our local colleges. I just had a meeting last week with Quincy College that's looking to offer our students some things. I have a meeting in 2 weeks with President Fred Clark at Bridgewater State. We have a partnership with UMass Dartmouth. We have a partnership with Massasoit. So we have a lot of partnerships with colleges, and, somebody asked me, do you think it's too many? I said, no, we have a lot of kids between Brockton High School and between Edison and Champion and Huntington and Promise. There's a lot of kids there. So there's plenty of, I can't have enough early college partners. So, and again, that's something that the state has really they're rolling out, but very slowly, so it's very difficult to continue to, you're basically building your own program, and, the state's been a little helpful, but it's pretty much up to us to build our own program. So, under Dr. Connor's leadership with Dr. Boone, that's really starting to take shape with our high school principals, and then continue to strengthen our community partnerships, and our work with my superintendent's PAC. And I continue to support the work at the community center, which is at the Goddard School. Thanks to the mayor, there's a elevator going in. It's actually a chairlift, so they'll have access at the Goddard to the 2nd floor. And that community center is still run by the community, and they run several programs. We have the 2 leaders of the community center board is Ivelisse Carabello and Lenny Montero from Sabora. So they actually lead that. They lead that community center, and actually have really done a great job. District Goal 2, Brockton Public Schools will ensure a welcome and inclusive environments in every school by establishing multiple tiers of instruction, intervention, and support, revising the instructional support team problem-solving process, improving communication and collaboration, and building capacity and infrastructure. And obviously, these are all the ways that we're doing it through A lot of things are repeated because it's just the same work. And with the strategic plan, we need to stay focused. So some of these goals kind of fall into each other. And the district goal obviously has to fall in with, the goals throughout. So we stay focused on the strategic plan. District Goal 3, Operations and Finance, implement the second phase this year, obviously, of the new BPS Transportation Department, designed to serve students in a safe and efficient manner, continue to improve our learning environments so they are safe, efficient, welcoming, and conducive for learning. And the action steps, again, this year so far, approved MSBA statement for Brockton High School, a $3.5 million grant. I want to thank Dr. Cobbs, Michelle Bolton, Ken Thompson, when this grant came out for an HVAC system, and we knew right away we had to. The Downey School was hanging on by a thread. Their HVAC system, and we were getting, actually, the mayor was ready to bring it to the city council for them to fund, because we could not go another year after this with the system that's currently at the HVAC system at the Downey, because it's just, we can't get parts for it anymore. So getting that grant will now replace the entire system at the Downey School, which is going to be amazing. So that process has started through the grant that the state came out with. I believe they got from ESSER funds to improve HVAC systems. So we got one of the largest in the state. So that's saving the city a ton of money. And Dr. Cobbs has been working on that for a long time now. Starting our next phase of the surveillance cameras. I left cameras out. Inside and outside our schools, the server has been updated, which allows us to add up to 500 more cameras across the system. So that is underway because the server was just installed. Installing vape detectives at Brockton High and Champion right now. That's in process. For transportation, we need to secure more 7D vans. Those are, drivers can drive those without a CDL, and those are the small vans that you see some of the private companies using. That's costing us a lot of money with homeless transportation, still having to contract private vans. So we're continuing to look for, I know Aldo, Jim, our mechanics look for more of like Caravans and Toyota Siennas, and to secure those, and then hire drivers to kind of get more of that homeless transportation and out of district transportation in-house. So, basically we're adding them. I think we're up to 4 vans, Aldo? 5. Oh, nice. And it's very hard to find them. Good ones, because as you know how hard it is to find used cars and how expensive they are. So finding a used Caravan is not easy. And then we're getting ready soon to launch our new Where is the Bus app, where parents can go on their phone and see exactly where the bus is. So that's another thing that's starting. So basically that brings me to the end, which is at the end of the evaluation. So basically in the middle of May, you'll be able to examine the evidence, determine the progress I've made in the ratings, and then provide obviously feedback. And then we present the findings at a meeting, and that usually takes place in June. And I can take any questions. I can go sit down for that.
You're sitting here?
Yeah.
You're up, you're up.
Just
Drink your drink, too.
Does anybody have any questions for the superintendent? Ms. Mendez?
Yeah, I think it's the student goal. Can you go back to the slides? Sorry, or,
I got it.
well, I think it's the one about the restorative justice partnership with Suffolk and how the admin training will happen by end of June.
Yes, so right now, I think,
it this one?
Jamie's been in that already, I think all of it. While we were in the second day. So basically, we have all the principals, the executive team, cabinet leaders, assistant principals, am I missing anybody? Associate principals as well. So all building leaders, so the 3 at the schools that have an associate principal, the obviously, and then the executive team that support them, all being trained in restorative justice, and then that group will work with training teachers and other staff members in the school for
So that's my question. How would that look like after the admin get the training? How would them training the teachers look like?
That's the part I really haven't covered yet. We haven't rolled that plan out yet.
Yeah, so we're working with, sorry, I didn't mean to jump.
No, go on, I'm just, yeah, no. Well, Jamie's leading the work, so
So
you want to come here?
our partnership with Suffolk is working on a new model for the leaders. So many of them have already done Tier 1 or Tier 2 in previous trainings. What's different is Suffolk has developed a leadership series helping the leaders know how to lead the work in the schools. So once we get through the administrative training, we're also working on adjusting the handbooks to ensure that restorative justice is embedded in the discipline policies and procedures in the district. From there, we'll also partner with parents and community members to have parent ambassadors of restorative justice working with us in the community, and then the training of the teachers will begin. We're working with Suffolk now to figure out what that looks like. As anybody who's been through it knows, the full training is 6 full days. And so we're being thoughtful of the amount of time teachers are out of the classroom. So we're working in partnership with Suffolk to figure out an abridged or an abbreviated model for training where we can get it to them without having every single educator be out for 6 days. So that's where we're kind of still a little foggy. We're working through that now with Suffolk.
Okay.
And they understand that that's a dilemma as you roll out to school systems, right? As opposed to a group of people, no problem, 6 days, Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. As you roll out to teachers, that commitment becomes significant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions? All right, in the interest of time, can I get a motion to adjourn? Can I get, okay, Ms. Azak first, Mr. Homer second. Can I get a show of hands? Okay, thank you, everybody.